Okay, so we're off. This is the down to the basement area, which is sort of carved out of rock. A bit dark in here, but this is undercover parking. The bike's companion for the night. Look at this place, it's just sort of carved out of the rock. So we're off to visit the passes of Susten, Furka and Grimsel, heading for Andermatt, but we're not going to Andermatt today. And I do need to wait for the satellites to acquire, because I've got no idea which way I'm going. Anyway, so here we are again then, approaching Falmo, and just wanted to show you, I didn't go the wrong way obviously. It's even got traffic lights, look. Nice little town. But the place I stayed in was a genuinely old, a lot of these are sort of quite modern, but this one is really old, stuck in a corner. It's very much like this one on the left. There's this one coming up on the right. I assume the bit at the back is an extension over the years, but the bit at the front, that one there, very nice. Anyway, as I was saying, heading towards Andermatt. I was going to stay in Andermatt, and there was one campsite advertised. It seems to have a monopoly in Andermatt, and it's got no vacancies because of the yodeling competition. There's an international yodeling competition going on there at the moment, so I think it might be fun to try and see some of that, but I couldn't get in the campsite, so I thought, okay, well I'll use booking.com and see what sort of prices they are. And the first price which came up was like 500 Swiss francs, and I thought, oh, okay, if it's 10 or 5 to the pound, then maybe, but no, 0.84, so that's nearly a pound. There was, the ones which were coming up were 780 Swiss francs. It took in £700 for a night. So it definitely motivated me to look for camping. And there is a campsite which is about 40 kilometres from Andermatt prior to it. Well, there's a few in fact. They don't take reservations, but it is about a 6-hour ride, and it's 9 o'clock now already. They don't take reservations, so you just have to get there and do it. So I'll hopefully, and that one's still in Italy, I think. Anyway, so the plan is to head for there, but even heading for there, the Garmin wanted me to go down to Milan and back up again. Well, that's a massive great loop. It would be faster, but I don't want to do that. I'm in the mountains, I want to stay in the mountains, so I've put into SatNav a town along the route, which is where in theory it's taking me to now. But it's a beautiful morning. It's a lot cooler. Well, we're sort of in the mountains. Okay, we're not up the mountains, but we're in the mountains, and it's a bit earlier. I mean, it's got a chance to rise, but so the plan is to get to that campsite today, and then do something which is being termed, at least, as the Andermatt loop with the 3 passes. And they're meant to be very nice. So that'll be tomorrow. I'll head for Andermatt, do that 80-mile loop, possibly just once, and then head off towards Davos so that I can pick up another loop of a couple hundred miles to pick up the Stelvio pass, etc. So that's the overall plan. Let's see if it pans out. An early morning hairpin. Don't really need to go first for that, do I? Oh. This looks a very, very tight hairpin. This is going uphill, but I think I will risk first on this one. Lean the bike. Look at these guys. All going downhill at the moment means obviously they've all come up the other side. Oh dear. These are all apple orchards, apparently. This is one of the major apple growing regions of Italy, according to the owner of the guest house I stayed in. I just like the change of scenery everywhere. So the mountains in the backdrop of the sort of bare mountains almost. In the foreground, these mountains or hills, whatever they might be, with this really thick foliage. Town of Cles, C-L-E-S. And then in the near orchards. Look at the places. So this is Mon Classico. Really are sort of in the alpine type of architecture. So many towns up here, sort of small local communities, I guess. Just keeping my distance from the group ahead. The temptation in a group is to want to keep up. I'm not here to try and keep up. I'm here to do my own thing. If I happen to keep up, then that's fine. I stopped in this little town at a very nice coffee shop and had some water and a cappuccino and something like a croissant, a brioche I think it is, and very nice too. But I'm still struggling with Garmin. Even if I've put in another town now, which is 80 kilometers away, and the one after that, I thought, oh well, I'll put in my final destination after that because it would have taken the hint where I want to go now. But no, still wants to drop me very far south, round the bottom of Lake Lugano. But Montegno, which I've put in, is right at the top of Lugano. So Garmin doesn't know about the roads that Google Maps does, or there's something wrong with Google Maps. I tend to go with Google Maps, so I just have to continue spoon feeding it. And it would be a very scenic route, I'm sure, going around Lake Lugano. I have been there. I was lucky enough to go as a child to Lugano, and takes you through Como as well, which as an adult I went. And here's an anecdote that you can just skip through. So my wife and I, when we well, before children, we built a kit car. Well, we built two, but we built this kit car, a 2+2, and went touring Europe in it. What we had anticipated was that she would be 7 months pregnant by the time we'd finished this car and went touring, so it was a bit of a squeeze to get her behind the steering wheel, because it was like a Morgan, if you know the Morgan. Anyway, the alternator that I fitted just before we went fried the battery, and we had to stay, I think it was Como, for 2 or 3 days waiting for an alternator to be provided. Yeah, as far as enforced stops go, not a bad place to stop, but if you're on a bit of a schedule touring Europe, as we were, it's not ideal. Anyway, end of anecdote. Going through another little town. We're not going that way, thankfully. We're going this way. So that Banco Popular thing just said 35 degrees. I don't think it's 35 degrees, but certainly quite warm down here at this level. Topped up with petrol just in case. It only took 5.45. Just bumped into a couple of fellow Brit riders. There's a chap on the S-1000. You can see his luggage. That's it. That's all his luggage. The chap with the Triumph at least has got a pannier tank bag and a roll bag. But that's called travelling light. Anyway, 56 kilometres to the next point of contact, and then I think I'm going to have to play it by ear, because Garmin really doesn't want to go north of Lugano, so I'll have to just see what to do. It's a very populated town, even in winter. Just come into the town of Bait, B-A-I-T. Just come down to it from Aprica, for a series of hairpins. Can really feel the descent in my ears, and the heat as well. It's getting much warmer down here again. I'm not sure the height of Aprica. I think it's about 1100 meters. Up in the hills just ahead of us, you can see the ruins. I think they must be ruins of some sort of town or settlement just coming out of Poggioridenti. That church might still be functioning, I guess. So I've put in the next stop point 19 kilometers away. Garmin is still wanting me to go back down the way I've come and round up the other way, and it doesn't have live feed, so I'm not sure why it's doing it. It's not as if, you know, it knows that the road is closed. Maybe the road is closed, maybe the road was closed when it you know, the maps were initiated. Where am I going, sat nav? I don't know what this is. What is this? Why are we all stopped here? Stopped here for a particular reason? No. Coffee shop. Border crossing. That might have been a border crossing. I don't know why everybody was stopped there. Well, not everybody. A lot of people sort of moved on, didn't they? Don't need to stop. Stopping. Nobody here. So this must be Switzerland now. So after a slight navigational glitch at the end there with the last 500 meters at this little campsite, and she's able to lend me a long reel for power, but it's quite expensive. It's 25 Swiss francs. There's a little swimming pool thing as well. But yeah, so here we are. Look at that view there though. All round. Camping Gorado it's called. As I say, still about 40 kilometres from Andermatt, but that will do. Tomorrow then I can do the Andermatt loop and then move on towards Davos.
So we come to the end of day 33. Another really hot, fairly uncomfortable day, but enjoyable nonetheless. I had to struggle with Garmin to go the route that I actually wanted it to go, but it did eventually, even though it was 20 kilometres at a time some places. So I'm in a campsite about 40 kilometres short of Andermatt. The campsite itself is well equipped. It's got a restaurant, swimming pool, showers, etc., as you would expect. A bit crowded, but it's fine. It's quite expensive though. It's 25 Swiss francs, which is just about 25 euros, so about £20. Even more than that. And I had a really nice omelette and a bottle of water for dinner. But again, that was €5 for that bottle of water, and it was only the 500ml. And that's expensive, isn't it? But nonetheless, the reason I'm whispering is because it's a bit crowded round, it's a bit late. So anyway, tomorrow, Andermatt and the Andermatt loop, I'll try and show that as a point on the map, or on the on Basecamp or something, so you can see what it is I'm talking about. Anyway, that's it with me. I'm turning in. lots of midges around, and I don't think they're in the tent, but I just got that feeling that, yeah. Anyway, that's it from me. Bye for now.